All right, so let's find the area of this shaded region. When we had awkward shapes like this before, what did we have to do? We kind of have to break it up into shapes that we were familiar with, right? Because the shape that I have right here that's a weird guy. But what I can see here is what? It's as though somebody gave you what? What shape do we start out with? Well, almost a square, but a square would have all sides being the same length, right? This is 12 centimeters across the top. What is this against the side? That's 14. So not a square, but a rectangle. So it's like you have a rectangular piece of paper, and you've done what with it? You've what? What have you cut out of this? You've cut a couple of triangles out of this, right? So really what you have is you have this big rectangle right here. But you have subtracted on the corner, you've subtracted that little triangle, and then against the side, you have cut out this other triangle. Do you all agree? So your job is to find the area of these figures and then do the math that is indicated here. You've got the big guy, right? Minus the area of this small triangle, minus the area of this other triangle. So look at this this big rectangle right here, the main shape that I have here. What are the dimensions for this guy? It's 12 centimeters by what? What's the height here? It's 14 centimeters. Do y'all agree? Is that enough information for me to find the area of that rectangle? Right, because that area would be, area is base times the height, yes? Now what about this triangle here? What are its dimensions? What is the height here?
8 centimeters.
The height is 8 centimeters. We got that. What's the base?
5.
How'd you get that the base was 5 centimeters?
Because the full length of the triangle is 12 centimeters.
So the full base here is 12, right? 7 is here, giving us the remainder of 5 centimeters for the base. Now this triangle is drawn just a little bit differently, right? So if you were to imagine rotating it like this, what is the base of this triangle when you look at it this way?
That's 7 centimeters.
It's given right here is 7 centimeters, and what's the height?
6 centimeters.
The height is 6 centimeters. All right. So let's come back here. What is the area for a triangle?
Half base times height.
1/2 the base times the height, and the area for this guy is still another triangle, so that's half the base times the height. Do y'all agree? So piece by piece, you're going to work this out. So for this first guy, his area is going to be the base, which is 12, times the height, which is 14. So before I started cutting out these triangles, what was the total area that I was working with?
That's 12 times everything.
Yes, 12 times 14 is... I'll give anybody an air high five for the first person who gets it.
12 times 12 is 1.
Come on, I'm ready to do an air high five. Anybody?
128.
168.
Who said 168? All right, Gabby, up top. All right, there we go. We get 168. Now, we're talking about what units, though? Square centimeters. Good. Now, what about the area for this triangle? His area is going to be 1/2 the base, which is 5, times the height, which is 8. Do y'all agree? Can I reduce the fraction away? The fraction can reduce with the 8, right? You can't do half of 5, not nicely anyway, but you can do half of 8. So the 2 goes in here once, goes in here 4 times. So what is the area for this triangle in the bottom right corner? So 20 square centimeters. And then this sideways triangle. This is 1/2 the base, which is 7, times the height of 6. Can I simplify before I get large numbers? The 2 goes into the 6 3 times, so the area of that triangle is what? Isn't that 21 square centimeters? 3 times 7 is 21. So when I look at this guy all together, the total area was equal to 168 square centimeters minus the 20 square centimeters that we cut off in the bottom right, minus 21 square centimeters from that chunk on the left side. So how many total square centimeters do we have here? I'll give you a hint. It begins with a 1. 127 square centimeters. What do you guys think about that? So not only do we have to remember the areas for triangles that we had just talked about, but we also have to go back another chapter or two to remember the area for a rectangle, the area for squares and parallelograms, because that stuff doesn't go away.